Amy, how are you? It's your beloved Art. I can't believe it's been 4 years since then. Time really flies, doesn't it? But honestly, when I think about the time we spent together, our love, all those moments, it feels like the years don't really matter. 4 years isn't that long compared to what we had. So, here's some big news. I'm coming back to my hometown soon. It's been a long time, hasn't it? This time, though, I've made some changes. I've ended things with the woman I was seeing, and now I'm free to finally be with you. There's no more holding back, no more worries. I can't wait to see you again, Amy. You don't know how much I've missed you. The thought of eating your home-cooked meals again makes me so happy, I can hardly stand it. Seriously, it's making it hard for me to sleep at night, just knowing that soon we'll be together again. And now about the move, don't worry, it's not that much. I only have 5 boxes of stuff, and I've already shipped them to your apartment. I've used a delivery service, so they should be there tomorrow. Can you make sure to accept the delivery when it arrives? I'm sure it'll get to you on time, no problem. And I'll be arriving tomorrow as well. Once I'm there, we can finally be together again in our love nest. I can't wait to pick up where we left off, to share all those little moments again, and to be with you like we used to be. It's gonna be so amazing to have you all to myself again. So, Amy, get ready. I'm on my way, and I can't wait to see you. Why? The apartment is gone! Our love nest has disappeared! Where are you?
Art?
Ah, Amy! Finally, you responded! Why didn't you reply until now?
Well, I couldn't check my phone because of my situation. Wait, I'm pretty sure I blocked you right after we broke up, so why are you messaging me?
I changed my phone number a while ago, so the number is changed!
Oh, I see. But what was with all those confusing sentences you kept sending me?
That's not important right now. Your apartment is gone. What's going on? I'm sure I didn't make a mistake with the address, and the surrounding scenery hasn't changed much, but only our love nest is gone.
Hold on. Can you calm down for a second? I just read your message from yesterday again. Are you saying you're at the address of the apartment I used to live in?
Huh? The one from before?
I moved out of there a long time ago.
What?
And I heard that the landlord tore that building down, so it's supposed to be a parking lot now.
No way! Then where's my stuff?
Your stuff?
Didn't you read my message? I sent my things to this address.
Well, in that case, maybe it was returned to the sender due to an unknown address, and they've got the delivery agreement or something.
No! What are you talking about? I sent it to you! It's your responsibility to find my stuff!
I don't know what to say here. I think it was wrong to send it without checking with me first.
I see. I understand now. So that's why you were ignoring my messages yesterday. You didn't want to take responsibility, and now you're trying to avoid it, right?
I told you I couldn't check my phone. I think you can see that I haven't even read the messages until just now.
Come on, there's no way you couldn't check your phone for that long.
Well, it happened, so what can I do?
Whatever! Find my stuff already! And what about where I'm gonna stay tonight? Where am I supposed to sleep? Or you could just come pick me up.
Why don't you just go to a net cafe near the station? With $50, you should be fine.
I don't have that much money!
What?
I barely managed to get here by selling a few things to cover transportation costs. I've only got about $2 left in my wallet.
What's with your finances?
What else can I do? The girl I was living with until recently went and found herself another guy, took all the money, and left me.
Oh, wow.
Because of that, I couldn't pay rent and got kicked out of the apartment, so I came all the way here thinking I'd get back with you. But you just moved without any notice.
I'm not obligated to report to my ex about moving.
Stop making excuses and just come pick me up.
Not happening.
Why?
Because I'm on an overseas trip with my family. That's why I couldn't check your messages yesterday. When you're on an international flight, you have to turn your phone off.
Wait, you're going with your family? Who are you with? You don't like overseas trips? You always said that.
I'm with my husband and kids when we're on a family vacation. I never had any intention of getting involved, but now I'm stuck in another country, so it's impossible anyway.
Wait, you got married?
Yes.
And you've got kids? When did this happen?
4 years ago.
You were cheating on me, weren't you?
What?
You always blamed me for cheating, but you were the one who cheated on me!
I met my husband a year after we broke up at a matchmaking party.
What? We broke up 4 years ago! The timing overlaps perfectly, doesn't it?
Look,
Apologize. Apologize to me, and we'll get back together.
we broke up 6 years ago.
What?
We broke up when you had just graduated from university, a little over a year ago when you were 23. How old are you now?
29?
29 minus 23 is...
Wait, what?
So there, that clears up your doubts. Isn't it obvious now?
No, wait, my stuff! Don't try to change the subject by confusing me with the years. That's a cheap trick.
I was just explaining that I'm not at fault here.
Just find my stuff. It's all I have left.
Then call the delivery company and ask them.
I don't even remember which company I used.
What? How could that be?
I got the slip from a local shop and used that to send it. I thought you would be the one to receive it, so I didn't need to keep the slip.
You didn't throw it away, did you?
Hey, where's my stuff?
I don't know. I told you. You'll have to call every delivery company you can think of and ask them. If the address is incorrect, the delivery company should be the one to call, right?
I wrote your phone number on both the sender and recipient parts.
What? Why didn't I get any calls about that? Maybe you wrote the wrong number.
I sent it to you! Take some responsibility for it!
I didn't check with you before sending it, so this is on you. And honestly, after 6 years, don't you think it's a bit obvious that I might have moved? I could be married by now. You should have considered that.
I thought it was 4 years ago!
Whether it was 4 or 6, it doesn't change anything.
I thought you'd wait for me forever. You betrayed my love and trust.
You betrayed me first. Remember when you said, I don't want a woman in her 20s, they're all going bad. I want someone younger. Who was it who switched to an 18-year-old right after high school?
I wasn't there anymore. I've come back reborn to face you again.
Oh, you are so annoying. You're the one who got all worked up, sent the stuff, and went to the apartment ruins. I'm just dealing with the fallout.
That's because I love you.
My husband and kids are here, so goodbye.
Wait!
I'm blocking you because you're too annoying.
Wait, no, Amy, please. You can't block me like this. You just can't.
I'm sorry, but I've moved on. I have a family now, Art. I can't keep dealing with this.
What do you mean you've moved on? You can't just throw me away.
I've made my choice, Art. I found someone who cares for me and my kids. I'm happy now, and I don't want you to be a part of my life anymore.
What? You found someone else to replace me?
It's not about replacing you. It's about moving forward. I'm with someone who respects me and is willing to help me build a future.
No, you can't just leave me like this. You owe me, Amy. You owe me everything.
You really think I owe you? After all the pain and lies, the betrayal, you think I owe you anything?
Yes, you owe me a second chance.
You had your chance, Art. You blew it.
I don't know what to do now. I'm stranded here with nothing.
That's on you. You've burned all your bridges.
I can't believe you're doing this. You've turned into someone completely different.
And you've stayed the same, Art. Selfish, demanding, and never taking responsibility.
I'm not like that anymore. I changed, I swear.
No, you haven't. You'll never change. You just want to keep taking without giving anything in return.
But I love you. I swear I do.
You can say you love me all you want, but your actions speak louder than words. I'm sorry, I can't help you anymore. I thought it was such an annoying message, especially the beginning part. I didn't really think much of it, but when I asked my friends about it, they said it was called a Romeo message or Romeo mail. So that's what it's called, huh? I see now. After that message, it seems like things escalated, and there was that whole situation involving a police report. Apparently, my ex-boyfriend started to show up around the area near the old apartment in the residential neighborhood and began ringing doorbells randomly, asking, "Has my package arrived?" Now, for me, being overseas in a completely different time zone, it was daytime when I found out, but due to the time difference, it was night in the US, and can you imagine if a stranger just came barging in shouting, "Package!" and stormed into your place? Even during the daytime, that would be pretty concerning, but at night? Yeah, no wonder the police were called. I can't blame them at all. So, of course, the neighbors got scared and the situation quickly turned into a mess. The police were called in and a report was filed because this guy, without any warning, started causing a scene in a very public and disturbing way. I mean, if it had happened at night, especially with the way he was acting, it was absolutely reasonable for someone to be worried. People would think it's some sort of emergency or that something suspicious was happening, and I can see why it triggered a response like that. A little while after all of this went down, I got a call from the police myself. They asked me about what had happened, and I explained the whole situation to them. Once I told them the details, they seemed to understand, and thankfully that was the end of it. They didn't need anything else from me after that. It wasn't like I had anything to do with what he was doing, so once I gave my side, everything wrapped up smoothly. To be honest, after all that, I have no idea what happened to him. I haven't heard anything about him at all, not a peep. It's like he vanished off the face of the earth. No updates, no messages, no calls, just gone. It's honestly a little strange considering how involved he was in all of that, but maybe he learned his lesson or just moved on, who knows. But looking back at it now, I can't help but wonder if he ever thought about how his actions could affect other people. I mean, randomly showing up and ringing doorbells, causing a scene in a residential neighborhood? That's crossing a line, and it's not just about the message he sent me anymore. It's about his behavior. I don't think he realized the kind of trouble he was creating for everyone around him. It wasn't just embarrassing for him, it was inconvenient and unsettling for everyone involved, especially those poor neighbors who had no idea who this guy was or why he was making such a scene. The worst part was, I didn't even know what the heck he was talking about. What package was he referring to? I didn't have any knowledge of anything being sent to him or anything that could explain his strange, frantic behavior. I mean, he didn't even bother reaching out to me directly to clarify anything. Instead, he decided to show up and act like a madman, hoping that someone would understand his bizarre and cryptic response. If anything, he probably just made the whole situation worse, and now I was the one dealing with it. It's honestly a relief that I didn't have to get too involved after the police interview. Once they understood the context, everything seemed to quiet down, but I can't imagine what would have happened if I hadn't been in touch with them or had any idea of what was going on. I mean, how could I have known? The guy was acting out of the blue, and for all I knew, it could have been some kind of prank or miscommunication. It could have gone so much worse if I hadn't been able to explain things calmly and clearly. As for what happened to him after that, I really don't care to know. He's just someone from my past now, and whatever mess he got himself into afterwards is none of my business. If he learned anything from this experience, that's great, but that's not my responsibility to make sure he does. I've moved on with my life, and I'm not going to let some ridiculous episode from the past drag me down. This whole kind of thing has faded into memory at this point, but I'll never forget the strange feeling of waking up to that situation. A random message from someone turning into a bigger mess than I could have ever expected. And the funny thing is, the whole thing could have been avoided if he had just been honest and direct instead of acting out in such a dramatic way. But hey, that's his problem, not mine. Looking back now, I do have to laugh a little at how absurd it all was. It's kind of funny how things like this can just explode out of nowhere, and you're left trying to make sense of it all. But then again, that's life, isn't it? Full of surprises, some of which are completely ridiculous and completely unnecessary. I guess all I can do is shake my head and move on. And if he ever shows up again with another package or another message, I'll be ready. But for now, it's just one more strange chapter in the book of my life that I can look back on and laugh about. It's really strange to think that something so small like a message could turn into something so big. It wasn't even a situation that needed to escalate the way it did. I mean, at the end of the day, all he had to do was ask calmly or just give it some time instead of showing up like he did. It's almost like he couldn't even fathom how his actions could affect anyone else, and now here we are with a completely out-of-control situation. It kind of makes me wonder about how some people handle their emotions. Do they even realize how they look when they go off the rails like that? Maybe they think they're in control, or maybe they just get so wrapped up in their own feelings that they can't see the bigger picture. Whatever the case, it's definitely a lesson for me. When you have a problem, the last thing you should do is create a bigger problem for everyone else. I've heard people say that sometimes we all need to learn the hard way, and maybe that's what happened here. He probably thought his actions would get him something, closure, answers, I don't know. But in the end, it just made everything worse. Sometimes the best way to handle a situation is to take a step back, breathe, and really think before you do anything that could blow up in your face. But again, that's something I don't need to worry about anymore. It's in the past, and I've moved on. Maybe this guy will figure it out eventually, maybe not. All I know is I'm not going to lose any more sleep over it. If I've learned anything, it's that things like this are just a part of life, and they happen for a reason. Sometimes you don't even realize the lesson you're learning in the moment, but looking back, you can see it so clearly. The funny thing is, though, despite everything that happened, it almost felt like a wake-up call for me in a way. Not that I was emotionally affected or anything. No, that ship sailed long time ago. But it made me realize how sometimes the most unpredictable situations can have a ripple effect. Even though this wasn't a life-altering event or anything that dramatically changed my life, it made me reflect on how things work in relationships and what kind of people they involve. You can't always anticipate what someone will do when things go wrong, but you can control your reaction to it. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Emma, it's been a while. Hey, are you there? This is my new phone number, so you haven't blocked me, right?
Who is this?
Oh, come on, it's Randy. You know, your future boyfriend.
Randy, I've rejected your confession more times than I can count. And seriously, we haven't seen each other since college. How do you even have the nerve to say something like that?
Emma, I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's get married.
What?
I mean it. Recently, I've finally started earning a decent income.
Oh, so you're no longer living the neat lifestyle?
Exactly. I worked hard, Emma. And now with my newfound success, you can finally live your dream as a carefree, stay-at-home wife.
Well, I'll admit it's a step forward that you're working now. But you know, I'm already engaged to someone else.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's how it is. Sorry.
Hold on. What's his salary?
What?
And does he plan to make you keep working after you're married? If his income is lower than mine and he can't afford to let you be a stay-at-home wife, maybe you should reconsider and marry me instead.
Yeah, no. I'm not about to share his income details. That's personal. But just so you know, I plan to keep working after marriage, and it's my decision.
Wait, what? That's terrible!
Why do you think that?
Come on, Emma. You say it's your decision, but isn't it really because your fiancé doesn't earn enough to let you quit? Let's be honest, he's probably broke, isn't he? And you're too embarrassed to admit it.
I'm not embarrassed. In fact, his income isn't something I'm ashamed of at all. And like I said, I want to work because I enjoy my career. My fiancé respects that.
You don't have to pretend.
Randy, seriously.
Yeah?
If you're going to bring up this ridiculous comparison between you and my fiancé, shouldn't you at least reveal your own salary? I can't even make a judgment without that information.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Though I'll tell you right now, it's not going to change my mind, just to be clear.
No way, you'll definitely change your mind. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But keep in mind, I only started working 3 months ago after leaving the neat life. So here it is, my monthly salary. Are you ready? Drum roll, please.
I could do without the theatrics.
No fun. Okay, here goes. My monthly salary is a whopping $1,200. What? Impressive, right? With this, you can finally live a luxurious life as a stay-at-home wife.
1,200?
Yup.
You're serious?
Of course.
So you're actually serious?
What's the matter? Are you stunned by how amazing I am?
I mean, I'm stunned, but for different reasons.
I knew it. I'm that good, huh?
No, it's just... that's really low.
Huh?
Look, I'm not trying to insult you. It's great that you've finally become independent and stopped relying on your parents. That's an important step, but...
But what? What's the problem?
It's not a problem, per se. It's just painfully obvious that you have no idea what average incomes or living expenses look like in the real world.
Oh, come on. My dad told me his first paycheck was around the same amount.
Yeah, but wasn't that like 30 years ago? Do you have any idea how much the cost of living has risen since then? And let me ask you this, can you even live on $1,200 a month?
Of course, I budget carefully and I manage to spend just about all of it every month.
So, you're saying you have no room to save any money?
Savings? Not exactly, no.
If your hypothetical wife became a stay-at-home partner, you'd be covering expenses for 2 people with that $1,200. On top of that, you'd need to save a significant amount each month for the future. It's pretty clear that $1,200 wouldn't cut it.
The future? Like when we have kids?
Exactly. Think about it. More groceries, higher utility bills, and education costs. Your salary doesn't support the kind of lifestyle you're imagining.
So it all comes down to money, huh?
Money isn't everything, but it's a pretty big part of being able to live comfortably. Marriage isn't just a fantasy, it's a practical commitment.
All right, fine. What about you and your fiancé then? Are you making enough to talk down to me like this?
Yes, for one thing, I'm earning more than you, and my fiancé earns more than I do.
What?
His income alone could support us, but these days you never know what might happen. That's why we've agreed to keep working together to build a stable future. Besides, I love my job, so I have no intention of quitting.
So, you don't even want to be a stay-at-home wife?
Not really, no.
Oh, well that changes everything. I guess I don't need to work hard anymore.
Wait, what?
Here's an idea. You keep working and I'll be the stay-at-home spouse.
Excuse me?
If you're earning enough for both of us, there's no point in me working, right?
Are you serious right now?
Absolutely. I'll quit my part-time job and focus on supporting you at home.
Wait, part-time job? You're not even a full-time employee? And you're proposing to me with that? Hold on, Randy, hello? Are you even listening? Don't just leave me on red. Randy, did you just put down your phone and stop talking to me? How did it come to this? Didn't you read the message from earlier?
Emma, I just quit my part-time job. I got notifications multiple times after that, but are you really that happy about marrying me? I don't need to read it. I already know what's in your heart. I already know.
Read it carefully.
Okay, fine. I get it. Hey, seriously?
That's what it is.
That's just cruel! You went on and on about how happy you were when we got engaged!
No. I was just giving an example that if your monthly salary is $1,200, having your wife stay at home as a full-time housewife is unrealistic. You're so dependent on your family's financial support, and you think it'll just magically work out?
But with your earnings, we could make it work!
Well, I've already turned down your proposal.
If there's love, money doesn't matter, right?
No, that's not the case. That love you're talking about, it was never there between us to begin with.
What are you saying? No way! That's impossible!
I've said it before and I'll say it again. There was never any real love between us. I might have liked you, but it wasn't love in the way you're imagining. It's not that I didn't care about you, but it was never the deep, meaningful connection that you're looking for.
You're so persistent! I turned down your proposal, so why can't you understand that? Why do you keep trying to convince me otherwise?
Also, my fiancé wants to tell you something.
Wait, he's here?
Don't mess with my precious woman, you jerk.
What? My brother?
Yeah, my fiancé is your younger brother, Frank. Your family, who's all about the firstborn, treated him terribly because he was the second son. They kicked him out of the house when he finished middle school. That Frank.
You're lying! That Frank who only graduated middle school is making more than me? No way!
He's not a high school dropout anymore.
Huh?
He worked while attending a night school, and with the money he earned, he finished college. Now he's working at a big company with a position of responsibility.
No way!
It's completely true. While you were living off your parents, doing nothing, Frank worked hard and kept moving forward with his own strength, and that's how he is today. I admire Frank's attitude, and I've decided to support him for the rest of my life.
Wait! You're being deceived. There's no way! That piece of trash, Frank, is not good enough to be your husband. I, the firstborn, am clearly better than some useless second son. Don't you agree?
You still don't get it, do you? Frank doesn't have the luxury of relying on other people to support him. He's the one who made his own future, and you're the one who's still stuck in the past. You still believe in some outdated idea of what it means to be a man, when the firstborn should always be in charge and the second son should just follow. That's not how life works anymore. I know that people like you with such outdated ways of thinking are completely incompatible with me, so goodbye.
No! You can't just walk away from me! I'll make you regret this. You'll see.
I don't think so. I've made up my mind, and there's nothing you can say or do to change that. I'm done with all the baggage you carry around. I'll be happy with Frank, and I don't care what you think about it. Your opinions don't matter to me anymore.
Wait! I will never accept this. Never!
You're the one that won't accept things. Frank and I have built something solid together, while you've just been coasting along with no plan. You had your chance and you wasted it. I'm sorry, but I'm moving forward with my life.
You've got to be kidding me! This is ridiculous!
No, this is reality. You can keep living in your fantasy world, but Frank and I are out here living our real lives. And that's the difference, isn't it?
But Frank is just... He's nothing! You're throwing away your future with someone like him!
I don't think you understand what you're saying. Frank is a hard-working, independent man. He didn't rely on anyone, not even his own parents, to get where he is today. That's something you could never do. You're just too comfortable in your own little bubble to see the truth.
I'll show you! You'll regret this, I swear!
No, I don't think I will. I don't regret a single thing. I'm happy with Frank, and I am proud of him. We're going to make it, and nothing you say is going to change that.
Wait! You're making a huge mistake!
I'm not making any mistakes. You're the one who's been stuck in the past, clinging to outdated beliefs and thinking you can control everything. Well, I'm done with it. Frank and I are moving on, and you can't stop us.
You can't just forget about everything we had! What we had meant something, didn't it? You're throwing it all away for someone you barely know!
What we had? That wasn't love. It was just a series of expectations that I never asked for. You expected me to be someone I'm not, and now you expect me to stay in something that doesn't make sense anymore? But you don't understand. You never did.
You're wrong. You're wrong about all of this. You'll realize one day that you made a mistake.
Maybe. But I'll be fine, and Frank and I will be happy. It's time for me to live my own life, free from all the burdens you've put on me.
You're so cold. This isn't how it's supposed to be! You're supposed to stay with me!
It was never supposed to be like this. You created a fantasy world where everything worked out according to your plan, but it never did. Now you have to face the consequences of your own decisions.
I can't believe this! You've really made your decision, haven't you?
Yes, I've made my decision, and I'm not going back. You can't change it. No one can. Randy's part-time job seemed to have been something that his parents, concerned about their own future and income, had arranged for him. They wanted him to work for a company owned by an acquaintance with the idea that one day he could transition to a full-time permanent position. This plan was meant to provide some financial security for his future and, in their eyes, ensure that he would be able to support himself as he grew older. They were looking to safeguard both their own old age and his, hoping his job would give him a stable income stream that would eventually allow him to live independently without needing to rely on them for support as they got older. However, Randy did not share his parents' vision. Despite the opportunity, Randy decided, quite abruptly, to quit the job he had been doing. It wasn't just that he left the job. He didn't even give much thought to the consequences of his actions. He quit without consulting anyone, and within no time he was back to his old habits, unemployed and living off of his parents, essentially reverting to a state of dependency. The plan that his parents had carefully laid out for him was in tatters. Their hopes for his future, which had seemed so promising when he started the job, were dashed in an instant. Randy's decision to quit and return to his previous lifestyle meant that their concerns about his well-being had only grown stronger. At the same time, the situation with Randy forced his parents to take a closer look at Frank, Randy's younger brother, and his life choices. They had heard about Frank's current situation and felt a sense of urgency. Frank had managed to build a life for himself, having overcome the challenges of growing up in a family where he had often been neglected, especially compared to Randy. He had worked hard, developed independence, and successfully made a name for himself without relying on their help. This was something Randy had never been able to do, and their frustration with him grew as they saw Frank's achievements. Seeing how Frank had turned his life around, they turned their attention to him in the hope that he might be the one to help them in their later years. Believing that Frank would be the one to take care of them when they needed it most, Randy's parents showed up at Frank's apartment unannounced. They had not informed Frank of their plans, and their sudden visit seemed to be an attempt to pressure him into offering them the help they desperately needed. However, Frank was one step ahead. A few years earlier, he had made the decision to leave that apartment behind, cutting ties with the people who had not supported him through his struggles. In a deliberate move, Frank had withheld his current address from his parents, so when they arrived at the apartment, it was no longer his home. This turned out to be a fortunate decision for Frank. His parents had no idea where he lived now, and their attempts to track him down proved fruitless. The only means by which they could have contacted Frank was through his cell phone number, but even that had been changed. Frank had severed all forms of communication with his parents, choosing to move forward with his life without them in it. The decision to change his phone number was the final step in completely cutting ties. Frank knew that by doing this, he could move on without the burden of his parents' expectations and demands. It was his way of ensuring that he would not fall into the same pattern of dependency and disappointment that had plagued his relationship with Randy. After making a clean break from his past, Frank eventually settled down, got married, and took on a new surname, Mine. This was a significant change for him, as it symbolized not only his new life, but the fresh start that he had been longing for. As he embraced this new chapter in his life, he also moved in with my parents, with whom he now shares a home. The relationship he shares with my father in particular is something truly special. My father and Frank bonded over shared hobbies, and their connection grew stronger with each passing day. It wasn't just about being in the same household, it was about genuinely enjoying each other's company and sharing common interests. They would often spend hours together discussing everything from books to films to music, and their conversations were filled with laughter and excitement. It was clear that Frank had finally found a place where he could thrive both personally and emotionally. My father, who had always been a strong support for me, was now giving Frank the same sense of encouragement and care that he had given me throughout my life. Frank, who had once felt neglected and alone, now had a family that truly understood him and welcomed him with open arms. It was a far cry from the situation he had experienced with his own parents, who had only ever seen him as a means to their own end, someone who could eventually care for them when they no longer were able to manage on their own. In many ways, Frank's life had come full circle. What had once been a story of hardship and neglect was now one of growth and happiness. He had gone from being the overlooked and underappreciated younger brother to being someone who was not only independent, but also a beloved member of a family that cherished him. The contrast between him and Randy could not have been more apparent, and Frank's success in creating a fulfilling life for himself served as a silent reminder to Randy of what could have been. It was a stark reflection of how their paths had diverged. Randy still clinging to his past mistakes and dependence on his parents, and Frank, who had moved on to a brighter future with a supportive family by his side. And as Frank continues to live with my parents, I see him grow even more. It's a life I'm proud to be a part of, watching as he builds a future not just for himself, but as someone who has found a true sense of belonging and peace. The transformation from the lonely, abandoned brother to the happy, engaged man he is today is something I will always hold dear. And I feel fortunate that he's now part of my family. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Lisa, are you available right now? I have something I need to tell you.
Oh, Mac? I'm on the train at the moment, so if it's just you texting me, I can reply. What's going on? It's pretty rare for you to contact me at this time of day.
I had to leave work early. Something urgent came up and I didn't have a choice.
What happened? Are you okay?
It's, Hannah. She left the house.
Wait, what? Hannah just left?
While I was at work, I received a message that made me panic. I ended up leaving work earlier than planned. When I got home, there were divorce papers sitting on the table. On top of that, she left a note saying that my parents already understood and supported her decision about the divorce.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, but obviously that wasn't true. I called my parents right away and they completely denied it. They were shocked and said there's no way they would ever support something like that. So I thought it was time for me to contact you about this.
I see. Well, that makes sense. It would have been strange if they were actually okay with it.
After that, I tried calling Hannah's phone multiple times, but I couldn't get through. She won't answer at all. Since you're at the same company as her, I thought you might have noticed something about her behavior or know what's going on.
Oh, I'm really sorry, Mac. I actually took the afternoon off today, so I wasn't in the office.
I see. Could you try messaging her for me then?
I could, but I'm not exactly close with Hannah, right? We're in completely different departments and we hardly interact even when I'm at work. To be honest, I'm not sure she'd even respond if I reached out.
That's fine. I just need to know anything at all. Even if it's small, her mood, her reaction, anything. Please let me know if you manage to get in touch with her.
All right, I'll give it a try. Hannah, hello. Where are you right now? Oh, Lisa. Did Mac reach out to you? Yes, he told me you left the house and left divorce papers behind. He seemed really upset. What's going on? Why did you do something so drastic all of a sudden? Well, from Mac's perspective, I suppose it might look sudden. But for me, this wasn't something that just happened out of nowhere. To be honest, I've started seeing someone else. What? Are you serious? Yes, I know what you're thinking. I can guess exactly what's going through your mind right now. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. I haven't taken things too far with him. There's nothing physical going on between us yet. I'm very aware of the boundaries I need to respect. Then why? Because I don't want to drag him into something messy. If I were to stay in this marriage while deepening my relationship with him, it would only bring him unnecessary trouble. That's why I've decided to keep things between us purely emotional for now. It's not ideal, but it's the right thing to do under the circumstances. I'm sorry, but I still don't understand. How could you just leave Mac like that? I left a letter for Mac explaining everything. I also asked him to submit the divorce papers by the end of the day. You really think it's that simple? Divorce isn't something you can decide and settle in a single day. I know it's complicated, but I've made up my mind. I'm hoping that Mac will understand eventually. Honestly, I know this will be uncomfortable for you two since we work together. I hope it won't make things awkward between us. If you could continue treating me the same way at work, I'd really appreciate it. Hannah, I think you owe Mac a proper explanation. Don't you think you should sit down and talk to him face to face before making such a life-changing decision? Lisa, I know you're just trying to help, but having a conversation with Mac isn't going to change anything. My decision is final. As far as I'm concerned, when the clock strikes midnight tonight, I'll be single again. And once that happens, I'll be free to truly be with him. Hannah, you can't be serious. Divorce isn't something you can just push through in a single day because you've decided you're done. It's far more complicated than that. Lisa, you're still single. Of course you wouldn't understand the complexities of marriage and what I'm going through. I don't expect you to. Anyway, I really need to get going. He's waiting for me. Hannah, wait, please, just listen for a moment. Mac, I talked to one of our coworkers in her department during work hours to see if they'd seen or heard anything. Apparently, she didn't show up to work today. After that, I sent her a message, and luckily she responded, so we ended up talking.
Really? What did she say? What's going on?
Well, it's a bit complicated. I'll try to explain it, but honestly, it felt like one of those situations where you just think, oh no, this is bad.
What do you mean by that? What did she tell you?
She mentioned that she's seeing someone else.
She said that to you?
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot of our conversation later so you can see the exact wording, but from what she said, it sounds like things haven't gone too far yet. She told me that she's been holding back because she knows that it would cause a lot of trouble if they crossed any serious lines right now.
I see. So she's trying to rationalize it? Either way, it's still cheating, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, there's no way around that. It's definitely a betrayal. But there's something that's been bothering me. I can't help but feel like there might be more to this, or maybe less, depending on how you look at it.
What do you mean, more or less?
It's hard to explain. This is just my gut feeling, so please don't take it as absolute, but I'm not entirely convinced that Hannah's actually cheating in the way you're thinking.
What? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so during our conversation, she kept going on about how this other relationship is all about a connection of the heart for now. And honestly, the way she said it struck me as odd. It reminded me of the kind of thing you hear from someone who might be overthinking things or getting caught up in their own imagination.
You mean she's delusional?
Well, maybe that's too strong a word, but think about it. Remember how you once told me that Hannah tends to get carried away with her own assumptions? You said that sometimes she has a hard time distinguishing her own perceptions from reality.
Yeah, I remember mentioning that.
And don't forget the whole misunderstanding with your parents. She thought they were on board with her decision to leave, but when you talked to them, it turns out they had no idea what she was talking about. That was a pretty big leap on her part, don't you think?
You're right. That situation should have been a red flag.
Exactly, and then there's the stuff that happened back when you two got engaged. Didn't she cause some kind of misunderstanding with one of your junior colleagues?
Oh yeah, that was a mess. She thought they were saying something about her behind her back, but it turned out she'd completely misinterpreted the situation. It caused a lot of unnecessary drama.
Right, so this might be another case of her jumping to conclusions or getting swept up in her own ideas. At work, too.
What about at work? Go ahead, you can tell me.
Well, Hannah has this reputation among some of the staff. People have told me that she seems to think she's more attractive or desirable than she really is. It's caused some awkward situations. A couple of coworkers even came to me for advice because they didn't know how to handle her behavior.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I'm sorry she put you in that position.
It's okay, really. Don't worry about me.
Still, it feels like this might be part of a pattern. After the incident with your junior colleague, she apologized and promised she'd learned her lesson. I decided to let it go because I believed her when she said it wouldn't happen again. But I made it very clear that if something like this happened a second time, there wouldn't be any more chances.
Well, that makes sense, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Like I said, this is just my perspective. If it turns out I'm completely wrong, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Honestly, you've given me something to think about. I've been so panicked about everything that I wouldn't have even considered this possibility on my own. What you've said is helping me calm down and think more clearly.
I'm glad to hear that.
By the way, aren't you on a trip with Fred right now?
Oh, yeah, Fred had a business trip earlier this week and it just ended today. After he finished work, we met up here. We're planning on spending the weekend sightseeing together.
I see. I'm sorry for dragging you into this when you're supposed to be relaxing. I completely forgot you were away when I reached out. Fred doesn't seem annoyed by all this, does he?
No, not at all. Don't worry about it. Fred works with us, so he knows how complicated things can get. He's been really understanding about the whole situation. If anything else comes up, don't hesitate to contact me, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and please tell Fred I said hi.
I will, and Mac, try to stay calm, okay?
I'll do my best. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, what's going on? Wait, Hannah? What do you mean, what's going on? You're with my boyfriend? What on earth do you think you're doing? Huh? I'm with my boyfriend, Fred, right now. What's the problem? What are you talking about? Fred is my boyfriend. Huh? I even heard him talking to his boss today. He was confirming that his business trip finishes on Friday, so he plans to meet me at the location and we'll spend the weekend sightseeing together. He got approval from the company to do this, so that's why I'm here. But then I saw you checking into the inn with Fred. Explain this. Wait, hold on. Hannah, are you saying that Fred was your target all along? Target? What are you talking about? Fred isn't the kind of person to cheat. He has no intention of being involved with you in any way. What? Are you saying you are the one he's cheating with? Huh? Well, once today is over, I'll be officially divorced, so I'm willing to overlook this for now. But you'd better return my Fred to me quickly. Look, Hannah, Fred and I have been together for almost 4 years now. We started dating shortly after we both joined the company. Huh? I recently introduced Fred to my parents as someone I'm considering marrying, and I've also met his family. Recently? You mean last Sunday? Yes, last Sunday. Come to think of it, Hannah, you came to my house uninvited while I was away for about 30 minutes to pick up my paycheck, right? Well... Fred just told me that when he came to my place and saw how surprised you were, he told you, I've come to ask for permission to date Hannah, and then suddenly you started squirming and sat next to him? Well... Fred still can't make sense of what happened, but he's still confused about it. So was this just another case of one of your misunderstandings? Misunderstandings? But Fred said Hannah, even though I'm not related to him, but I'm like a real partner to him and his family. Wouldn't you think he was referring to me, his real partner, not you? But think about this carefully, okay? If Fred were dating you and wanted to introduce himself to his parents, my parents, who would be your in-laws, would have no reason to meet you at all. Well, I thought he was asking for my permission to divorce my husband so he could be with you, but since he couldn't confront him directly, he might have been trying to smooth things over with my parents first. Maybe he was trying to soften the situation and create a less direct approach. So is this the kind of wild imagination you've come up with? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense at all. Then what about this trip? This trip was planned by Fred so we could travel together. It has nothing to do with you. What? No. This is a disaster. I left the divorce papers for Mac. What do I do now if this leads to a divorce? About that, as soon as I realized the misunderstanding during this conversation, I immediately informed Mac. Right now, he's probably on his way to City Hall with the divorce papers. No way! And Mac left me a message. He said, I can't deal with your misunderstandings anymore. I'm leaving today and will pack my things. I'll transfer half of the assets into your account by tomorrow. I won't ask for alimony, but stay away from me from now on. Lisa, pick up. I can't reach Mac's phone. He probably blocked you. What? No, stop it. I'm really sorry, but Fred and I both find your advances unwelcome. Please refrain from contacting us from now on. No, you're telling me to stay away after all I've done for you? What have you done for me, Lisa? Tell me, what exactly have you done? I've always been there for you when you were struggling with Mac, when you were unsure about your decisions. I was the one who offered advice. I always listened, didn't I? You came to me for help when you had doubts. How can you just throw all that away? This isn't about what you did for me. It's about what's right and what's happening now. You've crossed a line, Lisa. You've betrayed my trust and gone behind my back. Betrayed your trust? Are you serious? You were the one who was always indecisive. You couldn't even make a decision on whether or not to stay with Mac. You kept asking me for advice, but now you're acting like you've got everything figured out. This is ridiculous. I figured it out now. I know what I want, and it's not someone who undermines me or tries to manipulate me. Manipulate? What are you talking about? I have never manipulated you. I've always tried to help you. If I didn't care about you, I would have walked away a long time ago. But no, I stayed because I thought you needed someone to lean on. Well, guess what? I don't need you anymore. I may still have Fred. I don't need someone who treats me like a backup plan, someone who makes my life harder just because they don't know what they want. You think Fred is the answer to everything? You think he's the one who's going to fix all your problems? Well, that's never going to happen because as you've seen, he is done with you. I know Fred. He's real. He's been with me through thick and thin. Unlike you, he doesn't cause drama every time something goes wrong. So I'm positive he's not answering my calls because he's really busy with something else. All right, Hannah, say whatever you'd like about Fred and I, but just know that if you continue to try and call and text us, we're going to block you just like Mac. Now, please stop texting me. It's truly impressive how much someone could misunderstand everything like this. Hannah's department had an overwhelmingly male-to-female ratio of 9-to-1, and it seems like this situation led to some of the misunderstandings among the people there. This was based on a conversation with Fred, who worked in the same department as Hannah. Fred mentioned that there was a tendency for certain individuals in the office to become confused about the nature of their relationships and intentions, especially when the environment was so heavily skewed in favor of men. Apparently, there were also frequent comments from Hannah that seemed to hint at her being overly popular among her male colleagues. She often said things along the lines of, "It's so tough, I'm just too popular and the guys are constantly chasing after me." Such remarks were clearly attention-seeking, but it seemed to further fuel the misunderstandings that already existed. People around her might have interpreted these comments in various ways, and before she knew it, a bizarre scenario had formed in her mind, a delusion that there was some sort of inevitable competition going on for her affection. She began to believe that the men in her office were secretly fighting over her, competing for her attention behind the scenes. The situation took an even stranger turn when Fred visited my parents' house. This event seemed to perfectly align with the timing of Hannah's delusions about the so-called battle over her. Fred's visit to my family home must have been the moment when her fantasy became a reality in her mind. She imagined that Fred had somehow emerged victorious in this imaginary contest for her affection, and from that point on, she convinced herself that Fred was the winner of the battle for her love. To make matters more complicated, Hannah had been through a divorce by this point. She had left her job and returned to her family's house in the countryside. The divorce was a difficult experience for her, and she sought solace by retreating back to her rural home, far away from the bustling city. However, her troubles didn't end there. 2 years later, she found herself embroiled in yet another spectacular misunderstanding, this time with the influential figures of her hometown. The misunderstanding escalated to the point where it severely impacted her standing in the local community. Hannah became the subject of widespread gossip, and soon the entire village turned against her. Her family, feeling the pressure from the situation, became estranged from her, and they made the decision to cut ties to her. They effectively excommunicated her, and Hannah had no choice but to leave and relocate somewhere else, further removed from her previous life and connections. It seems that the misunderstanding, which had initially started as a trivial delusion, spiraled out of control and had lasting consequences for Hannah's life. What had started as a casual daydream of being pursued by the men in her office transformed into a full-blown fantasy that affected her personal relationships. Eventually, these delusions created such a rapture in her life that she became alienated from the people who were once close to her. It's fascinating how one small misunderstanding can snowball into such a massive and irreversible situation. If she hadn't spun this web of imaginary love and competition, perhaps her life might have turned out differently. But instead, she found herself caught in a self-made trap with no clear way out. Fred, who was also involved in this strange turn of events, must have found it just as bizarre as anyone else. He had no intentions of being part of any such competition. His visit to my family home was purely innocent, yet it had become a catalyst for Hannah's distorted interpretation of reality. As much as it seems that the situation was beyond his control, Fred couldn't escape the fallout from Hannah's increasingly erratic behavior. His involvement in the story made it even more complicated than it already was. Looking back at the whole situation, it seems like a series of unfortunate coincidences. The office dynamics, the comments about being too popular, Fred's visit to the family home, and Hannah's personal turmoil all collided to create a chaotic sequence of events. One misunderstanding led to another, and before long, it seemed like everyone involved was caught up in a web of confusion and speculation. Hannah's final fall from grace came when she was effectively ostracized by her hometown community. It was a harsh reality for someone who had once been a part of the close-knit village, but the weight of the misunderstandings and the rumors that followed her actions were too much to bear. Her attempt to rebuild her life in a small town turned into a complete disaster, and she ended up moving away in search of a fresh start. In the end, it's a story of how things can easily go awry when people misinterpret actions or words, especially when they're already predisposed to creating fantasies in their minds. Hannah, like so many others before her, found herself trapped by her own illusions, and those around her suffered because of it. Fred, for his part, might never have understood the full extent of the role he played in this bizarre turn of events, but it was clear that his simple visit to my family home had inadvertently become the spark that ignited Hannah's delusions. As for Hannah now, who knows where she is or what she's doing? Her life seems to have taken a sharp detour, and it's unlikely that she'll ever return to the life she once had. The combination of misunderstandings, misplaced beliefs, and emotional struggles left her isolated and alone, a cautionary tale for anyone who finds themselves caught up in their own delusions. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Alexis, where are you going? Why did you leave before me? I was planning to have you cover my part of the bill. Seriously, come back here right now. Excuse me, what are you even talking about? We didn't come to this cafe together, remember? I was already here, minding my own business when you walked in and sat down. It's not like I promised to treat you or anything, so why should I be responsible for paying your bill? Oh, don't act like that. What's your problem? I came up to you at the cafe, didn't I? I even said hi to you. Given the circumstances, it's obvious that you should treat me. Do you even realize what kind of position you're in right now? You're in no position to refuse, Alexis. What are you talking about? What position? Oh, wow. Is that really the attitude you want to take? What do you think your husband would say if he knew you were here today, having tea with that man? And what about the moms from your social circle? What would they think if they found out? Why would it matter to anyone? Seriously, go ahead and tell them if you want. It doesn't bother me. Don't play dumb with me. I've already thought about this carefully. Just in case some people might not believe me if I told them, I made sure to take a few pictures. That's right, I've got photographic proof, so no matter what excuses you try to come up with, there's no way you can deny this now. Get it? I don't think you understand. I haven't done anything that would require me to deny or hide. Even if you try to spread rumors about me, it won't hurt me in the slightest. I'm not worried about it at all. Wait, what? Are you serious right now? Wow, to hear you say that. Wait a minute, could it be? Oh, I see how it is now. What are you going on about? So that's what's going on. You're saying it doesn't even matter if people find out about your affair, huh? You've reached the point where even if the truth comes out, it won't make a difference to you. Affair? What are you talking about? I'm not having an affair. Oh, please, you don't have to hide it anymore. The man you were sitting with at the cafe, he had that dashing, slightly older vibe, didn't he? He looked like the kind of guy who could sweep someone off their feet. Listen to me, that man is not my lover, okay? I was meeting with him for work, that's all, nothing more. Oh, sure, work, huh? That's such a typical excuse. You really expect me to buy that? I'm serious. Can you please just listen to what I'm saying for once? You're not even giving me a chance to explain. This isn't a conversation anymore. You're just talking over me at this point. But anyway, let's not dwell on that for too long. Your husband, his family runs a company, doesn't he? And your child is a girl, right? So if I were to marry your husband, that would automatically make my son Russell the heir to their family business, wouldn't it? Holly, what are you even talking about? Oh, it's all starting to make sense now. I should probably start preparing my divorce papers. Wait, hold on. What? Where is this coming from? Oh, I haven't mentioned this before, have I? Actually, my marriage has been on shaky ground for a while now. Divorce has come up as a possibility, but I've been hesitant to move forward because of financial concerns. But now this is my golden opportunity. If I marry your husband, not only will I have financial stability, but I'll also be stepping up in life. It's like hitting the jackpot. Holly, seriously, stop and listen to me. Oh, and about the cafe bill, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it myself. Holly, listen. The person I was having tea with earlier isn't some secret lover. He's the owner of that cafe. I work as a web designer and he hired me to redesign the cafe's website. That's why we were meeting, to discuss the project. As for why we were sitting in the customer area, there's a very practical reason for that. I wanted to experience the cafe's atmosphere firsthand so I could incorporate it into the website design. That's all there is to it. Nothing personal, nothing inappropriate. And let me just say this, Holly. Even if, hypothetically speaking, I were to get divorced, which, let me be clear, I am not planning to, what makes you think you'd automatically become my husband's new wife? Do you really think relationships work like that? You're skipping over so many steps here, falling in love, building trust, forming a connection. It's not some automatic process. Holly, are you even listening? Hello? Why aren't you answering? You haven't even opened my messages yet. I really hope you're not doing something impulsive. Holly, please, just think things through, okay? Oh my, I was wondering why there were so many missed calls. Oh, so that's what this is about. Holly, finally, you've read the messages. So the man I thought was your affair partner turns out to be the cafe owner. Got it. It looks like I jumped to conclusions. My mistake. But, well, that's just a minor detail now, isn't it? It's not a minor detail at all. Even if you and your husband are discussing divorce, filing the divorce papers just because you assume you'll end up marrying someone you're not even in a relationship with is absurd. It's unthinkable. Honestly, it's a massive nuisance for me, so please stop this nonsense. Oh, about that. You know that process of falling in love thing? Well, I've already taken care of that step. Taken care of it? What are you talking about? Exactly what I said. Your husband has been head over heels for me for ages now. What? It all started last year during the kindergarten sports day. We both fell in love at first sight. Every time we crossed paths during drop-offs or pickups, we'd silently communicate with our eyes. It was like we understood each other on a deeper level. The clincher, though, was during the Christmas party. Even though we were seated far apart, we kept exchanging longing glances. I've been ready and waiting for him to confess to me ever since then. So really, this whole situation couldn't have come at a better time. Thank you, Alexis, for deciding to go through with the divorce. Let me stop you right there and correct something. Huh? Correct what? My husband has told me multiple times, whenever I feel someone staring at me and turn around, it's always Holly glaring at me. Did I do something wrong? What? The fact that he would say something like that to me proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he does not and has never had romantic feelings for you. Wait. What? Also, Holly, let's take a moment to really think this through, shall we? The reason you thought Alexis and her husband are getting a divorce was entirely based on your assumption that I was having an affair, wasn't it? But I wasn't having an affair. That means there's no actual reason for my husband and me to get a divorce, isn't that right? Wait, hold on. No way. Oh, but still, meeting one-on-one with the cafe owner is super suspicious. My husband was with me at the cafe, sitting at the next table the whole time. What? The cafe job was actually a referral from my husband. It was my first meeting with the owner, so my husband and I went together. When the web design meeting started, my husband, who doesn't know much about that field, sat at the next table enjoying tea while waiting for me to finish the discussion. This can't be happening. So, Holly, I don't know what's going on between you and your husband that led to talks of divorce, but there is absolutely no chance of me and my husband splitting up, which means you definitely cannot marry my husband. As I said earlier, please don't act rashly, okay? It's already too late. Wait, what? I already submitted the divorce papers earlier. What? Now I'm back to having to pay alimony. I was planning to rely on your husband's income after marrying him, and now everything is ruined. Everything. Ah, so you were the one being asked to pay alimony. Do something! I mean, this is entirely your problem, not mine, right? You're my friend! Holly, let me lay it out for you. You jumped to the conclusion that I was having an affair. You assumed my husband had feelings for you. Then you built on those assumptions, adding layers of misunderstanding and delusion. Finally, you've somehow ended up blaming me for your divorce, saying it's my fault. It's because you did something misleading, like having a business meeting in a cafe. My husband was literally sitting at the next table. There was nothing misleading about it. What? Details don't matter now. Just fix this for me. Listen, do you even realize that you haven't apologized to me even once? Something like that? Yeah, I'm done. I won't be associating with you anymore. Wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry. See, I apologized. Now please respond. Too late. Goodbye. Alexis, answer me. I don't even know what to say anymore. It seems that the primary reason behind Holly's divorce from her husband stems from a shocking revelation. Russell's father isn't actually the man everyone assumed him to be. Instead, it turns out he's a completely different person. This revelation caused a massive upheaval in their relationship, shaking the foundation of their marriage. What makes matters even more complicated is that the identity of Russell's real biological father remains completely unknown. No one has been able to determine who he is, and it seems unlikely that this mystery will ever be solved. The uncertainty and unresolved nature of this issue added layers of tension and mistrust to an already fragile relationship. For the longest time, Holly was unwilling to proceed with the divorce. Despite the truth coming to light and the deep rift it caused between her and her husband, she clung tightly to the marriage. Perhaps it was a desperate attempt to maintain some semblance of stability or to avoid the social stigma of being a divorced woman. Whatever her reason, she refused to let go. Her husband, on the other hand, had reached his breaking point. The revelation had been too much for him to handle, and the idea of staying in a marriage built on lies was unbearable. However, even with his resolve to end things, the process of divorce proved to be a long and grueling ordeal. Holly's refusal to cooperate dragged things out unnecessarily, creating a tense and emotionally draining situation for both parties. At some point, Holly's husband, exhausted and resigned, decided that he had no choice but to accept the fallout of this situation, even if it meant enduring significant emotional and financial strain. He had described it as bracing himself for a dramatic downturn in his life, fully prepared to face the hardships that would come with leaving the marriage. Just when he had steeled himself for this challenging journey, an unexpected incident occurred that seemed to simplify everything. The details of this incident remain unclear, but whatever it was, it acted as a catalyst for the divorce to be finalized swiftly. What had once seemed like an insurmountable hurdle suddenly became a relatively smooth and straightforward process. In a bizarre twist, Holly's now ex-husband actually went out of his way to express gratitude for the situation. He reached out to the person indirectly involved in the incident and said something along the lines of, "I imagine this must have been a bother for you, but it truly helped me out." The absurdity of this statement is hard to overstate. Imagine being in a situation so convoluted that the person escaping a deeply troubled marriage feels compelled to thank someone for their indirect role in resolving the mess. It's a testament to just how surreal and tangled the entire ordeal has become. After the divorce was officially finalized, one might have expected Holly to accept the outcome and move on with her life. However, that was far from the case. In the aftermath of their separation, Holly made numerous attempts to reconcile with her ex-husband. She pleaded with him, made emotional appeals, and tried to convince him to give their relationship another chance. It was clear that she wasn't ready to let go of the life they had built together, no matter how flawed or fractured it had been. Despite her efforts, her ex-husband remained resolute. He had made up his mind to move forward, and he was determined not to be drawn back into the chaos that their marriage had become. In an effort to create a clean break, Holly's ex-husband took a job transfer to a different city. The new position required him to relocate, which he saw as an opportunity to distance himself from Holly and the painful memories of their marriage. He moved back to his hometown, cutting off direct contact with her entirely. Holly was left with no address or phone number to reach him, making it impossible for her to continue her attempts at reconciliation. In essence, he disappeared from her life completely, leaving her to pick up the pieces on her own. Now, all communication between Holly and her ex-husband is conducted through lawyers. These interactions are focused primarily on matters related to alimony and other financial settlements that arose from their divorce. The negotiations have been drawn out and contentious, with both sides struggling to reach an agreement that satisfies their respective needs and obligations. It's a complicated and emotionally charged process, further exacerbated by the lingering resentment and unresolved issues between them. Not too long ago, I happened to see Holly in passing. The sight of her was striking. She looked completely worn out, as if the weight of everything she had been through had taken a severe toll on her. Her once vibrant and confident demeanor was nowhere to be seen. Instead, she appeared gaunt and frail, her face pale and her cheeks hollow. Dark circles under her eyes hinted at sleepless nights, and her overall appearance suggested that she had been working herself to the brink of exhaustion. Whether it was to cover the expenses that came with the divorce or simply to keep herself afloat in the aftermath of everything that had happened, it was clear that she was struggling. It's difficult to see someone in such a state, especially when you know the person they used to be. Holly was once a woman who exuded energy and self-assurance, someone who seemed capable of handling anything that came her way. To see her reduced to this fragile version of herself is a stark reminder of how quickly life can change and how even the strongest among us can be brought low by unforeseen circumstances. Despite everything, there is a sense of inevitability about what Holly is going through. The choices she made, the secrets she kept, and the way she handled her relationships all played a role in shaping her current situation. While it's natural to feel some measure of pity for her, it's also important to acknowledge that actions have consequences. Life has a way of teaching us lessons, often in the most unforgiving ways possible. Holly's current struggles seem to be one of those lessons playing out in real time, a reminder that the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply it's buried, and that the decisions we make can have far-reaching effects. As I reflect on everything that's happened, I can't help but wonder what the future holds for Holly. Will she find a way to rebuild her life and regain some sense of stability, or will the weight of her past mistakes continue to drag her down? It's hard to say. For now, all I can do is hope that she finds the strength to move forward and create a better life for herself, one where she can learn from her past and make choices that lead to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. However, the road to recovery for Holly is going to be anything but easy. There's a deep emotional burden she must grapple with, a sense of failure that will likely haunt her for years to come. In her quieter moments, I imagine she must reflect on what went wrong, the missteps that led her down this painful path, and wonder whether things could have been different. Regret is a heavy companion, one that often arrives when damage has already been done, and I suspect Holly will have her fair share of sleepless nights spent reflecting on everything that transpired. In time, Holly may come to terms with her choices. Perhaps she'll find some solace in the understanding that, despite the collapse of her marriage, she is still capable of rebuilding her life. After all, many people emerge from difficult relationships stronger and more resilient. However, she'll need a great deal of support, and there may be moments of solitude where she faces the full weight of what's been lost. It's important that she finds the right people to lean on, those who will offer encouragement and guidance without judgment. The process of healing takes time, but with the right mindset, it is always possible. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.